Joe Hopkins here, and I figured we'd have a beer and talk about something cool. Take a look at that title down there, right? It's right down there. That ain't just clickbait, baby. I'm gonna go over the started to overflow there. I got it. I'm gonna go over something that I learned recently that's interesting. Now, I've done a video or two where I talk about serial killers, especially cannibal serial killers. Why? Why would I talk about such a thing? Because for anybody that's a little bit newer to my channel, I'm a musician, but I also work in corrections. And I've known a few serial killers, cannibal serial killers, right? And there's a famous one called Joe Metheny. Look him up sometime. He's on a lot of lists of 10 famous serial killers, right? He's from Baltimore. And, he killed people and he ate them and he fed them to other people. Yeah, people meat, right? He had a barbecue stand. Take a look at it, right? And I met Joe Metheny, right? I've been around the guy. He died actually in the section of the institution that I now work in. I knew the dude, right? Well, he killed people. And how do you dispose of bodies? You grind up the meat and put it in the barbecue, I guess, right? So I was at work the other day. We were talking about this guy. And somebody asked a question that I'd never looked up. Where was his barbecue stand? That's an interesting question. And it never occurred to me. I always just assumed it was in East Baltimore because the murders he was in on were in Essex. If anybody out there is familiar with Baltimore, Essex is east of the city, east part of the city. And I always assumed that's where his stand was. Now, I grew up in Baltimore. I grew up in West Baltimore, right? So imagine my surprise when I looked this up and I'm reading the article. I'm reading it out loud. And it says that his barbecue stand was in the Violetville neighborhood in Morrill Park. That's part of Baltimore. It also happens to be the part of Baltimore I grew up in. So now I'm intrigued, right? Nobody's heard of Violetville. I've never seen it in print other than on a map. And very few maps even include that as one of the neighborhoods, right? It's a small neighborhood. I'm like, okay, so it was pretty close to the house I grew up in. I read further, and it says it was on the corner of Caton Avenue and James Street. And now imagine my surprise. Guess where I grew up? On the corner of Caton Avenue and James Street. And then I read a little bit further. Right next to the Pallet Warehouse, which is directly across Caton Avenue from my house. My house is literally, you turn onto James Street, off of Caton Avenue, and my house is, there's an auto body shop and then my house, right? So going in the other direction, back up past the auto body shop toward Caton Avenue, if you go up to the top of that street and look right across Caton Avenue, that's where his barbecue stand was. Literally across the street from the house I grew up in. Now, granted, I left Baltimore in 1992, and this guy opened that place in like 94 or 95, right? So I missed it. I missed the thing. If I had lived there when that stand was there, you better believe I'd have eaten there because there's a barbecue stand right across the street from your house, right? You're going to stop there and eat. It would have been right across, right next to the Pollock Johnny's, which was there when I was a kid. I ate at Pollock Johnny's. It was a local sausage place, like a hot dog restaurant, right? They sold Polish sausages. Good stuff. And if there'd have been a barbecue place there, I'd have ate there. And I'm not sure how I feel about having missed it. Is it a good thing? Is it a good thing that I never ate people meat? Or, admittedly, it would have been pretty cool to have eaten at this famous barbecue place. I mean, come on. That would be pretty cool, right? I'm sure some of you out there are going, what's wrong with you? You wanted to eat people? No, I don't want to eat people. But it's a barbecue joint that was owned by a famous serial killer. yeah, there's a little bit of people in the meat, And he wasn't very discriminatory about who he was cooking up either. It was mostly hobos and hookers. And, I'm pretty sure if you cook the meat to 180 degrees, it kills the gonorrhea and syphilis and whatever else is in there, right? I would assume. However, learning this fact was incredibly interesting to me because, that's where I grew up. Right across from my childhood home. Literally, I would have been able to see the place from the window of my house. That's pretty cool. If you ask me, it's pretty cool. Maybe other people would find it creepy, disturbing. I think it's cool as hell. I thought I'd share this story with you guys because, why not, right? Because I think it's an interesting story. Now, if you bother to look up Joe Matheny, you'll find that he started killing people in 1994. If anybody's interested, his girlfriend took their kid and ran off. And he went out looking for them because he was going to kill her. But he didn't find her, right? He went to a bridge under a bridge where she'd bought drugs before and was asking the hobos there if they knew where she was. And he got pissed off at them and killed them. And they killed some other guy because the guy saw him do it. So, and that's not when he started serving people, though. He dumped those bodies in the bay and found that he really liked killing. So he'd go out looking for his ex-girlfriend here. I guess it's ex-girlfriend at that point. Looking to kill her. And wouldn't find her and just kill somebody else instead. And at some point, he decided to try eating the people and found that people taste good, according to him. He said people taste good. Said they really taste like pork, so he thought, well, you can mix that with pork meat. So he opened up a barbecue stand, and it was, by all accounts, from what I've heard, really, really good barbecue. Which is also a little disturbing. That mixing people with it makes it really, really good. I don't know if the people had anything to do with it or if the guy was just particularly good at making barbecue and it would have been just as good without the people meat. It's kind of hard to say, right? But, I mean, the magazines, newspapers down there all applauded this place as being one of the best new little restaurants in Baltimore. Apparently people really, really loved his barbecue burgers. Right? He mixed the people meat with the pork. And he said once you mixed it in, you couldn't tell because people taste like pig. Apparently. I don't know personally. I'm just making that clear. I'm taking that guy's word for it. And not just what he said to others, what I've heard, I got to hear him say. It's kind of cool. I can say it. He said in my presence that people taste like pork. And that's why he opened a barbecue stand because you can mix people with pork and you can't tell. You can't tell. That's what he said. You can't tell. Anyway, interesting little tidbits. You learn something new every day. One, that I lived next to, right across from where a famous barbecue stand opened up that served people meat. That was interesting for me to learn. We've learned, you guys have learned, I've known this for some time, if I want to take the guy's word for it, and I will. I'll take his word for it. You've learned today that we taste like pork. It's interesting things to know, interesting things to learn. What's really also interesting is one of my coworkers looked at the picture of the place, and he said, I'm pretty sure I ate there. He lived in Baltimore around 95, 96, right? And he's like, I'm pretty sure I ate at that place. So that's interesting. We learned that one of my coworkers has eaten people. Always interesting to know. But, tell me what you think about people eating and people meat restaurants. What would you think? Because I was thinking, what if I bought that lot and opened up a barbecue stand and called it the People Meat Barbecue Stand? It's in the same place. That could be cool. Do you think that would attract customers? Famous serial killer had his barbecue stand there. Could be interesting. Anyway, thanks for hanging around for my interesting story. Certainly, I'm probably one of the few YouTubers who can talk about stuff like this, I would think. I don't know. It doesn't mean that my YouTube channel is going to blow up, but I'd like it to, so hit subscribe. And thanks for sticking around. In a sec here, there's an end screen, and there's playlists that come up. Reviews, if you're interested in instrument good reviews, mostly guitars. Or my album, I Didn't Get a Memory. And I'll see you guys in the next video. I love you guys. Peace out, baby. Bye-bye.